November 18th, 1978. The world woke up to a headline that no one could believe. In the middle of a jungle, in a tiny country called Guyana, 918 people were dead. 918 babies, children, grandmothers, young men, young women, all dead in one single night. No bomb, no earthquake, no disaster. They were murdered by a man who they called Father. His name was Jim Jones, and if you saw him in 1965, you would have liked him. He was charming, he was passionate, he talked about equality, love, peace. In a time when Black Americans were being treated like dirt, Jim Jones opened his church to everyone. Black, white, poor, rich, everyone was welcome. He performed fake healings on stage. People threw away their wheelchairs. People screamed and cried. They said, "This man is touched by God." His church grew. Hundreds became thousands. Politicians loved him. Newspapers praised him. He became one of the most powerful men in San Francisco. But behind the smile, behind the preaching, something was very, very wrong. Jim Jones was not a man of God. He was a man who wanted one thing: control. His church was called the People's Temple, and once you were inside, getting out was nearly impossible. Members gave Jim Jones everything: their money, their homes, their savings. Some people signed over their entire life savings. If you questioned him, you were publicly humiliated in front of everyone. If you tried to leave, your family would be threatened. Your friends would turn against you. This is what we call a cult. But the people inside, they didn't see it that way. They thought they were building something beautiful, a perfect community, a place where racism didn't exist, where everyone was equal. Jim Jones had given them hope, and hope is the most powerful weapon in the world. By the mid-1970s, journalists started asking questions. Former members started coming forward, talking about abuse, torture, fear. Jim Jones knew the walls were closing in, so he made a decision. He would take his people far, far away to the jungle. In the middle of the jungle in Guyana, South America, Jim Jones built a town. He called it Jonestown. Over 900 people followed him there, leaving behind America, their old lives, everything. They built houses, they grew food, there was a school, a medical clinic, a pavilion. From the outside, it looked like paradise. But inside Jonestown, life was hell. People worked from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in brutal jungle heat. Food was scarce. Children were punished harshly for small mistakes. Adults who broke rules were beaten. And Jim Jones was unraveling. He was addicted to drugs. He was paranoid. He believed the CIA was coming to destroy him. He believed the world was against him. Every night, over the loudspeakers, he would speak for hours, rambling, threatening, preaching. And then he started doing something that terrified everyone. He called it White Night. White Night. In the middle of the night, sirens would go off across Jonestown. Everyone, men, women, children, would be forced to gather. At the main pavilion, Jim Jones would stand before them, and he would say, The time has come. Drink this. Guards would hand out cups of what appeared to be poison. People wept. Mothers held their children. Some people begged, and then they drank. But they didn't die. Jones would laugh and say, "It was a test. You passed." He did this over and over again, rehearsing death until people were no longer afraid of it, until they were conditioned to obey. This is one of the most chilling examples of psychological manipulation in all of human history. But the final White Night was not a rehearsal. In November 1978, a U.S. congressman named Leo Ryan flew to Guyana. He had received letters from families in America begging him to check on their loved ones in Jonestown. Ryan arrived with journalists and cameras. At first, Jones welcomed them. Jonestown looked fine. People smiled for the cameras. But then, quietly, some members slipped notes to the journalists. "Please, help us. We want to leave." Pause. Ryan announced he was taking those people back to America. Jones panicked. As Ryan's group reached the small jungle airstrip with over a dozen Jonestown defectors, armed guards arrived and opened fire. Congressman Leo Ryan was shot and killed, along with 3 journalists and 1 defector. Pause. It was the first time in American history a sitting congressman was assassinated. Back in Jonestown, Jim Jones gathered everyone and said the words that ended 918 lives. Jim Jones stood at the microphone. He said, "They will come for us now. They will torture our children. We must die with dignity." Large metal vats were brought out, filled with grape-flavored drink, mixed with cyanide, Valium, chloral hydrate. Nurses drew the poison into syringes and injected it into the mouths of babies and young children. Parents held their children as they died. Some people refused. They were injected by force. Some tried to run into the jungle. Guards chased them. The ones who drank willingly were not evil people. They were not stupid people. They were people who had been broken down over years and years until they could no longer think for themselves. Within 45 minutes, 918 people were dead. Jim Jones was found with a single gunshot wound to his head. Whether he shot himself or someone shot him is still debated. The jungle was silent. When U.S. military arrived the next morning, they couldn't process what they saw. 918 bodies lying in rows in the middle of the jungle. 276 of them were children. Back in America, families waited for news of their loved ones. The grief was unimaginable. Jonestown changed America forever. It changed how the world understood cults. It changed how we understand manipulation. It changed laws around religious groups. And today, the phrase, "drinking the Kool-Aid," comes from this exact moment. It means following someone blindly, without question. 918 people didn't die because they were weak. They died because one man was very, very good at making people trust him. So next time someone promises you paradise, next time someone says, "Just trust me," Don't ask questions. Next time someone tries to cut you off from your family and friends, remember Jonestown. Remember that 918 people were once just looking for hope. The most dangerous person in the world is not the one with a gun. It's the one who can make you believe that dying is the right thing to do. This was Jonestown, and we must never forget.